All right. Good evening. My name is Jonathan. This is the Haystack. There's another assassination attempt on President Donald J. Trump. Again, he was over in West Palm Beach playing golf this Sunday afternoon. Another reason to be at church instead of golfing, right? So what had happened is Secret Service members had noticed a long barrel sticking out of the bushes through a fence about maybe 300 yards away, and they proceed to take shots. The person behind there fled the situation and was seen by a witness getting into a black Nissan, and was later, it was identified, they had the plates and everything, and they captured him. All right, so President Trump is fine, no harm. The assassin never even got to fire off a round. But going back to the bushes where he was set up, there was a long gun, an AK-47 long gun with a scope on it, and two backpacks filled with ceramic tiles and a GoPro camera. So right now, FBI is investigating, going through the evidence and seeing what they can gather from that. And the guy was captured. He was captured on the highway, entering into Martin County in Florida. The black Nissan belongs to his daughter. The attempted assassin's name is Ryan Wesley Routh. He's previously lived in Hawaii. He's 58 years old. He's been in North Carolina doing as a construction worker, and it was apparently his daughter's car. The vehicle's registered to his daughter. Now the thing is that the last assassination attempt was on July 13th. Today's the second assassination attempt. Following, what was it, 5 days ago, 6 days ago, the debate he had with Kamala Harris. The point I want to make with this is, in the debate, Kamala Harris is saying it's clear now that the lawsuits aren't going to stop Trump, the charges aren't going to stop Trump, J.D. Vance isn't going to stop Trump. It's now up to the American people. Then President Trump says, look, it's that type of rhetoric that got somebody to take a shot at me. It's that type of rhetoric that caused people to try to assassinate me. And then, of course, the ABC moderators interrupt him and stop him right there from making that point and going further with that. Well, yet again, we see this happening. Mike Lewis, hey babe, can I borrow the car? I'm just going golfing. Oh, nice, Dad. Here's the thing is, with the Secret Service, what they do, the golf courses are very familiar places for Secret Service. So they do have a protocol model where they scan and have everything. That's why this was so readily, they're so readily able to identify a long barrel sticking out of the bushes. The guy just never was able to take a shot. I don't know why he had two backpacks hanging on the fence with ceramic tiles in it, if that was supposed to be a barrier window, or why the GoPro. Somebody who's doing something like that, you typically don't keep a record of it. But also, when someone's making an assassination attempt, they're not likely to live through it either. So I don't know what what's going on there, but now that he's been captured, FBI's interrogating or questioning him, and we'll see if he dies in a jail cell or not. But the thing is there is no regular scheduled time of where the president goes. These things aren't scheduled, so there would have to be some inside knowledge, or the guy would just have to be following the Trump train, the caravan, for some time, or something. So either there was some Secret Service heightened awareness of something going on, and so they were paying extra special attention to it, or they were they just acted quickly because of their protocol model. Ephraim's Knighton Maiden. Apparently he had quite a criminal record involving losing his license and a few having to do with illegal gun possessions. Yeah. Does seem the type, right? So sounds like a felon. Sounds like someone who can't vote. So he's taking his efforts out elsewhere. It doesn't sound very intelligent. Obviously, probably has some history of mental illness. Um, Moves around a lot. So I don't know. To me, when I see an assassin do something, it's a suicide attempt. It's where they've given up on everything. So now the big question is going to be, is this person acting alone? How did this person get information of where the Trump mobile would be, or where Trump would be? If there's not a regularly kept schedule, there's these offshoots. Personally, I think Trump should have just been in church. Okay. So I don't know if they had a heightened awareness of a suspicious vehicle. It's not something that's been talked about quite yet, but hopefully with the FBI interviewing and talking with him, some more information will come forth. And I'm betting by tomorrow morning we're going to have a lot more information. Not sure how much this guy is talking. I would assume he'd be low intelligence and he would probably be talking a lot and just be a disgruntled person. I'm curious of why he would have 2 backpacks full of ceramic tiles, and why the GoPro, because he's not wearing the GoPro. He ran off without it. So it just it doesn't make a lot of sense, and maybe I'm just not picking up on the uses for all those things. Was he planning on scoping things out and moving it further down the road? Was the ceramic tile to drop on the roadway to stop the Trump caravan, later on? So what are your thoughts on it? I can't think of a reason why he'd be carrying ceramic tiles hanging up on the thing. It wouldn't make much of a barrier. It'd make shrapnel that would hit and shatter everywhere. But it sounds like Secret Service responded very quickly, very efficiently, so there's going to be a lot of recognition of what they did, how they responded to this, just by noticing something and then firing upon it, and not waiting until being shot at to shoot. Because law enforcement officers, you're not trained to wait to be shot at. If someone is pointing a deadly weapon or someone's doing something like that, they've already signed their death warrant. Ephraim Knight and Maiden, the ceramic tiles, I guess, were a ceramic Kevlar squares. I know the word, ostensibly to protect himself from bullets. Yeah, that probably, I would think that it's just, it seems like it would act more like shrapnel. But if it's wrapped up in Kevlar, then yeah, I kind of see that. So I wonder if he was wearing some. So I do have a picture of the black Nissan, at least the back of it. It looks like it was like a little small SUV style. I haven't looked up what model or kind, but a witness watched everything happen and saw the bushes they ran out of by a chain link fence, and saw him hop into a black Nissan and got the picture. And so that was sent to law enforcement, and this went all out, and it was just in the entrance of Martin County after they left West Palm Beach County is when law enforcement officers intercepted him and picked him up. And it sounds like that was a very I mean, we're trained on how to get people out of their vehicle in high stress situations, so it's either they go peacefully or it's all over, So it sounds like they did that very cleanly, very efficiently. So there should be some recognition of how the law enforcement officers contained the situation and apprehended the assassin. But that's all we got for now. Just thought we might as well break this information to this community. We were doing our radio check, stake and ward-wide radio check this evening. So I got out and told my neighbor that, hey, did you know that there's like a Trump assassination about an hour ago? And they're like, no, we didn't hear it. 'Cause it's Sunday. We don't usually watch the news on Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see how we got the information, if they had been following, and but Trump did make a statement right away and said, hey, just so you know, let everybody know I'm safe. So that got out very soon. But this is, to me, it's certainly the rhetoric that is being given. And people defend Kamala Harris and saying, oh, she's telling people to get out and vote. Then say, vote, instead of the charges aren't stopping him. J.D. Vance isn't going to stop him. The American people must stop him. That doesn't sound like a democratic form of prompting. It sounds like, especially because she said earlier in the debate, go to his debates. I encourage you, go to his debates. Because she wants unhinged people to go to those debates. We already talked about how some of these unhinged people work for BlackRock and these more liberal-minded organizations, yet are still registered Republicans, much like here in Idaho. We have many liberal-thinking and acting individuals who are registered Republicans. And we exposed how they funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars into every county to select their liberal, moderate-minded individuals to be precinct committee members, and ran the whole campaign for them throughout the state. So basically it was pay to play. They just threw money at it. This is what's happening to subvert our election year, our ability to vote. And that's really where it starts, because they paint the party. They determine the party platform. And we're losing it because we're just so relaxed and going, oh, we'll get out and vote when it's time to vote. And we focus so much on the big ticket people. It's the small ticket people you need to pay attention to. Who's the Lord called? The Lord called judges of Israel. Ask them to volunteer their time to also, if they're to receive revelation on not just the word, but the word boundaries, come on. If the prophet is prophet of more than just the church, he's the prophet of the world, then there's revelation for the world. I think that's a worthy opportunity to have people who will listen to advisors or be advisors, those who can have the testimony of Christ, the spirit of prophecy. Noreen Moss. Yep. Mike Lewis. I can't stop thinking about poor Barron, the young man at school who's super popular. The ladies are all over. He's just a kid and has to wonder how his dad will die today. This is the new Kennedy family. The Trumps are today's Kennedys. Almost. And hopefully not. But we all saw this happening. Kay Green, so irresponsible. Noreen Moss. People need to be aware of what's going on. Absolutely. You need to listen to your small people. You need to be involved in your town councils, your community councils. Kay Green, do you worry about going to the polls? I'm starting to. Yes, Noreen. Hey, actually, this is something I want to talk to you about. So the FBI did call the sheriffs around the nation together, and Glenn Beck talked about this briefly, but there's something he did not mention. And they talked about how the FBI was warning them that this election season, it has a heightened risk for terrorist activity from immigrants. And so they were told to go back to their counties and basically tell people, look, immigrants are going to be an issue. Violent immigrants are going to be an issue. And it's up to individuals to protect themselves because they can't depend on the county. They can't depend on the city. They can't depend on law enforcement to protect them from everything. Here's what I think is happening. This is the way I think, and how I was trained. When you're giving when the FBI is giving information based on their behavior and the information that they're then giving to sheriffs who are very constitutionally minded, who are very gung ho, they're trying to maximize and exploit that independence and constitutionalism by exciting them. They're trying to drive up froggy people. they're trying to get people to be paranoid at the polls. So in the hopes of, like, you get like a paranoid Trump supporter who brings his guns and say it's my right, blah blah blah. But if they see immigrants, that they do something irrational, that they act out, that they do something like that. And I think that was the reason of the warning to the sheriffs. The sheriffs are taking it as, oh, heightened risk. Let's be aware. Everybody has to be personally aware. The FBI is hoping the Trump supporters will overreact to this and they'll get trigger happy or froggy and do something stupid. It gives them a lot of potential to do something. So all you really need to do is put people in isolated big population areas, and just like January 6th, put your agents in that crowd and move things in a certain situation that they want. Entrapment, you're not allowed to do that, but they do that. And that's what I think is being shaped for our election. And so I think that there's going to be a lot of debate over the credentials of this election because of immigrant stuff. And if there is an incident, I guarantee that there is going to be an incident in multiple locations. And I guarantee that it's going to be some undercovers prompting it. And some of it will be very natural, and some of it will be real, some of it will be manufactured. All right, so Ephraim, Knight and Maiden, not where I'm at, I don't. K Green, I'm in Virginia. Ephraim's Knight, Arkansas. K Green, Virginia is purple, libertarian. What we've been seeing lately is purple tends to transition to blue very quickly because it's such a huge paradigm that overlaps on both sides that the more politically involved people turn it blue very quick. K Green, I'm usually go with your husband, but he passed away 2 years ago. Your ministering brother and sister, go with them together as a thing. Ephraim's Knight and Maiden, we live in one of the very few blue counties in Arkansas, but we're in the rural part of the county. K Green, you have Northern Virginia. Well, I've been seeing a lot of places turn red. The thing is that the places that were blue in the 1990s, like Arkansas, where the Clintons come from, the blue is now the moderate red today, especially here in Idaho. They have the same platform the Democrats would have had in the 1990s, but they're all claiming Republican. But they're all very, very, very Democrat platform. And then they side with a lot of these more extremist people. This is what I noticed, what we all noticed here in Idaho when we started seeing these lobbyists buy the county committee people for the Republican Party. And these people were like Black Lives Matter groups, abortion activists. They were LGBTQ trans rights activists. and they're dumping their money under the guise of a conservative super PAC. It was lies. For the past couple of years, we noticed that the Democrat Party of Arizona dumped like $10 million into Idaho that just never went to anybody. I wonder where that got distributed, because it was donated to Idaho, and then just now we're seeing that money surface. And that's how we're losing everything. If we as Latter-day Saints, Christians, people who care, would just simply look to those who have the testimony of Christ, not those of high calling or those who once served as a bishop, because one of these guys in our county is a former bishop, but he is beyond moderate, and that's his own choice. But going under the guise of a Republican, to me, is deceitful. It is dishonest. It's maybe in their view, it's a stratagem, but it's also just very dishonest to take it a direction of people who are literally trying to erode our liberties. I'd be surprised if Kamala won at all. But at the same time, there's a lot of people talking about how it's not even going to get that far, that no matter who gets elected, they're not going to get sworn in. And we know if Trump gets elected, he promised to end the war in Ukraine and in Israel before he gets sworn in. So honestly, I'm rooting for that. I want to test that out. I'm rooting for him either way, because that's what we have right now. But he also said if Kamala wins, within 2 years, Israel would be gone. Now, that contradicts scripture. Again, Trump needs to go to church. He needs to read his scriptures. He wouldn't find himself in these situations. K Green, we have Northern Virginia. K Green, yes, dishonest. All right, well, that's all I've got for you. The guy's name is Ryan Wesley Routh. I put his picture as the thumbnail here. So the guy doesn't seem to be right in the head, and it'll be interesting to see if he had help, because either he had help or he was following the train, and these guys, the Secret Service, probably were watching for quite some time. They probably know, say, that vehicle, we saw it here, now we're seeing it here again. So we're seeing it from state to state. But again, with their golf protocol model, there's lots of stuff that they prepare for, and they're able to act very quickly. So they should be commended, especially after the last assassination attempt on July 13th. And if you remember, Joseph Smith Jr. was the first presidential candidate to ever be assassinated. And that happened after lots of lawsuits failed. And when he had people turn on him, he had people betray him. And they had the news working against him to where they had to take down the printing press. Fake news, right? And here we have it happening all again in the same format. This is the structure of tyranny. This is what happened in Europe. This is what happened to Joseph when he ran for president. It's what's happening again. It's what we're told would happen. All right, pray for Trump. You know what? I pray that he goes to church and reads the scriptures. He could so much that he could avoid. I mean, Joseph Smith did, and he got killed, but he knew it. Ephraim Knight Maiden, thanks Haystack. Yes, he needs the prayers. He does need the prayers. Some fasting would help too, I suppose. More than that is that we prepare that no matter what happens, that we're prepared to see the Lord's work through whatever awful things happen and whatever good things happen. Because the good things that happen will lead to pride. The bad things that happen will lead to retaliation. And we need to be mindful of that. Okay? So we're asked to find rest in the Lord. And I think that comes by living covenant. Anyways, that's it for now. Have a wonderful Sabbath, and we'll follow up on it if any further information comes. Take care.